Every morning, you awaken with dreams ignited within you, but by nightfall, they are suffocated by fatigue and regret. What if your greatest threat is not failure, but the subtle choices you make each day without awareness? There are habits that quietly rob you of your time, sap your focus, and diminish your potential from within. These are the silent destroyers of growth, camouflaged in plain view. Once you become aware of them, they are impossible to ignore, and breaking free from them will forever alter the course of your life. If you are weary of living on autopilot, this is where the cycle concludes. In the moments ahead, you will uncover the hidden habits that stealthily undermine your progress and learn how to liberate yourself from them permanently. First, tackle procrastination. It is crucial to understand that procrastination is not a harmless delay. It is a silent thief that steals your destiny. In those quiet moments, when you allow important tasks to be pushed aside, something profound is occurring. Your potential is being drained, drop by precious drop. This is not merely a matter of postponement. It is a surrender of possibility. Each time you declare, "I will do it tomorrow," you are placing your dreams in the hands of time, something that is indifferent. Time does not wait, it does not forgive, and it never returns. Minutes turn into hours, hours into days, and before long, years pass, leaving your greatest aspirations waiting in the wings. Accumulated delays are not just lost moments. They are the compounding interest of unfulfilled potential. The individuals who built empires, created entire industries, and left lasting legacies did not wait for the ideal circumstances to arrive. They created those conditions. They understood that situations seldom align perfectly without effort. The architects of history recognized that waiting for optimal conditions is a luxury that ambition cannot afford. Instead, they pushed ahead with the available resources, converting limitations into launching points. Consider Thomas Edison. He didn't wait for inspiration to strike like lightning. He relentlessly worked with what he had each day, pursuing the glow of his vision in the darkest moments. His unwavering commitment to experimentation, trying thousands of materials before discovering the right filament, exemplifies the effectiveness of consistent action over sporadic bursts of motivation. Edison's laboratory was not a sanctuary for occasional brilliance. It was a realm of daily determined effort. If you continue to postpone the very actions that could lead to greatness, you will one day awaken surrounded by regrets rather than achievements. The true tragedy of procrastination lies not only in the lost opportunities, but also in the haunting recognition of what could have been. Individuals who consistently delay significant actions do not only forfeit external successes, they forfeit the version of themselves they could have become. Action serves as the remedy. Action, not planning, preparation, or perfection, but simply starting. The momentum generated by taking the first step, even if imperfectly, creates the energy needed to propel you forward. What appears insurmountable before you begin often reveals itself as manageable once you are in motion. The mountain that looms large from a distance transforms into a series of navigable steps as you commence your ascent. Discipline serves as the bridge between dreams and actualization. It involves making daily choices to adhere to your commitments to yourself, especially when motivation wanes. Discipline does not demand extraordinary willpower, but rather systems that render progress inevitable, breaking large tasks into smaller, manageable ones, creating environments that minimize distractions, and establishing accountability. Deep down, beneath the rationalizations and excuses, clarity is present. The path ahead is not obscured by a lack of knowledge, but by the unwillingness to confront temporary discomfort. Your intuition has already identified the next step. Your challenge is to summon the courage to take it. You do not need more time, you need more courage. Courage to begin right now while others hesitate. Initiating action before feeling completely ready distinguishes the exceptional from the ordinary. Those who change their worlds do not wait for fear to subside. They act alongside their fear, letting purpose outweigh apprehension. Success does not come to those who wait. It rewards those who start. It favors the initiation of action over mere intention. Your future accomplishments will rely not on immaculate planning, but on present actions, regardless of how imperfect they may be. So the question arises, will you persist in waiting for the right moment, or will you choose to embrace the now? This very moment, no matter how imperfect, holds all the potential you need to begin. Your choice today will shape your reality tomorrow. Choose action and observe as doors that once seemed locked begin to open before you. Quit fearing failure. What if I told you that every accomplished individual you admire has failed more times than you have tried? The fear of failure acts as a mental prison, and you hold the key. We build these cells brick by brick, with every what if of doubt, every recollection of past disappointment, and each projection of future humiliation. Yet, the door remains unlocked, waiting for the day you recognize that failure is not your adversary. It is your teacher. The world does not remember the times someone faltered. It remembers the solitary moment they rose and endured. History's pages do not recount the missteps of great figures, but rather highlight their breakthroughs and triumphs. Abraham Lincoln endured loss after loss in elections, faced business failures, suffered personal tragedies, and battled depression. Yet, he refused to surrender and ultimately emerged as one of history's most revered leaders. Why? Because failure did not deter him. It inspired him. This shift in perspective, viewing failure as a transit rather than a terminus, set apart those who achieve greatness from those who merely dream of it. When Thomas Edison was asked about his many failed attempts to create the electric light bulb, he famously stated, "I have not failed. I have merely discovered 10,000 ways that do not work." Each unsuccessful endeavor narrowed the possibilities, guiding him closer to the solution that would illuminate the world. When you worry about failure, you hesitate, and hesitation is fatal. It paralyzes your progress, poisons your passion, and dulls your innate desire to create, explore, and grow. The energy that should propel you instead locks you in place, caught in a cycle of analysis paralysis or the false comfort of planning without execution. Dreams remain dreams, potential remains potential, and the divide between who you are and who you could be widens with each passing day. But remember, failure is not the conclusion. It is data, feedback, and redirection. Each misstep provides valuable information that cannot be obtained through any other means. The entrepreneur learns which business models do not resonate with the market. The artist uncovers techniques that fail to express their vision. The scientist recognizes hypotheses that do not explain the phenomenon. This knowledge, gained through the currency of failure, becomes the foundation for future success. If your dream is worth having, it is worth risking failure. The magnitude of your aspiration should surpass the discomfort of your setbacks. Meaningful achievement necessitates risk, and risk inherently entails the possibility of failure. By accepting this reality, you release yourself to pursue ambitious goals without the paralysis that perfectionism often brings. Embrace the fall, for it is only through falling that we learn how to rise. Children learning to walk tumble countless times, yet we never categorize these falls as failures. Instead, we understand them as necessary steps in mastering a new skill. Carry this wisdom into your adult endeavors. Each setback builds resilience, owns technique, and fosters the mental fortitude essential for lasting success. So the next time fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Smile and respond, "Then I will learn, adjust, and try again even better." This simple shift in response transforms the burden of potential failure into a ballast, grounding you in purpose while allowing you to navigate toward your highest aspirations. In this manner, what once confined you becomes the key to your liberation. Quit negative self-talk. You are always hearing yourself. The inquiry is, what are you saying? Most individuals lose the battle in their minds long before they ever step into the arena of life. The words you articulate to yourself, even in silence, create the script of your destiny. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you are not good enough, you will eventually stop trying. If you concentrate on your weaknesses, they will grow stronger while your strengths fade away unnoticed. Think of the mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed, positive or negative, it will flourish. Are you planting weeds or flowers? Your thoughts are not passive observers. They actively create your reality. When you modify your internal dialogue, you can transform your external circumstances. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is a responsibility. If you do not believe in your dream, why should anyone else? One of history's most esteemed steel magnates wisely noted, "As a man thinks, so he becomes." This insight was not merely philosophical musing, it was practical wisdom regarding mental discipline. Your words shape your perceptions, and your perceptions culminate in your reality. This is not mystical thinking, it is psychological truth. The narratives we construct filter our interpretations of events, opportunities, and challenges. A setback can either become a stepping stone or a stopping point, depending entirely on your internal narrative. Start today with a simple shift. Replace "I can't" with "I will figure it out." Exchange "I always fail" for "I am still learning." These are not just affirmations, they are recalibrations of your mental framework. When you infuse power into your life instead of poison through your words, everything else follows. Consider how many aspirations have perished, not due to impossibility, but because someone convinced themselves they were unachievable. Your potential is not constrained by your circumstances, but by your thoughts about those circumstances. The distinction between the successful and the unsuccessful often lies in opportunity, but this practice demands vigilance. Your negative self-talk has probably operated on autopilot for years. Breaking this pattern necessitates awareness and intentionality. Each time you catch yourself spiraling into limiting thoughts, pause and redirect. This does not mean denying reality. It is about choosing which aspects of reality to emphasize. Extraordinary achievers throughout history comprehended this principle. They faced the same challenges and doubts as everyone else. The difference was that they refused to allow their internal dialogue to narrate a tale of defeat. Instead, they consciously crafted stories of possibility and persistence. Remember that your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is experienced. When you consistently tell yourself something is impossible, your mind fabricates evidence to support this affirmation. Conversely, when you continuously affirm your abilities, your mind discovers routes to make it true. Your life progresses toward your most dominant thoughts. Choose them with care. Protect your mental garden from weeds of doubt and fear. Cultivate the seeds of possibility and progress, for ultimately, the most significant conversation you will ever have is the one you are having with yourself at this moment. Next, quit surrounding yourself with toxic influences. Take a moment to assess your surroundings. Who do you spend your time with? Are they nurturing your growth or feeding your insecurities? Are they elevating you or dragging you down? It is said that iron sharpens iron, but what if your circle is rusting you instead? Countless dreams have faltered, not due to a lack of talent, but because of poor associations. Early in his journey, Henry Ford faced mockery for his ideas. Yet, he was wise enough to surround himself with those who believed not only in his vision, but in his capability to manifest it into reality. That belief became his fuel. If your conversations are filled with gossip, complaining, and limitations, you are consuming poison daily. However, if your circle discusses ideas, growth, and execution, you are nourishing your soul. The quality of your discussions directly influences the quality of your thoughts, which ultimately determines the quality of your life. Reflect on how you feel after varied social interactions. Some leave you energized, brimming with possibilities and motivation, while others leave you depleted, discouraged, or questioning your path. This is not mere coincidence. It is the natural outcome of environmental influences. Research consistently illustrates that we become the average of the 5 individuals we spend the most time with. Their habits become your habits, their mindset infiltrates your thoughts, and their limitations can become your excuses, or their courage can serve as your inspiration. This is not about superiority or abandonment. You do not need to despise those you have outgrown, but you must be brave enough to surpass them. Every relationship serves a purpose in your journey, even if that purpose eventually concludes. The most challenging growth occurs when we recognize that certain relationships, perhaps ones we have cherished for years, are now hindrances to our progress. The comfort they provide can subtly become a cage, keeping us from the discomfort that foreshadows advancement. You cannot rise if you cling to what weighs you down. Every great achiever has encountered this crossroads, the point where loyalty to their potential had to take precedence over loyalty to stagnant relationships. This does not imply severing ties harshly. Instead, it involves gradually investing more time with those who challenge and inspire you while compassionately creating distance from those who do not. It may mean having difficult discussions about your evolving needs and boundaries. Choose your environment as if your life depends on it, because it does. The energy surrounding you becomes the energy within you. Your psychological ecosystem determines which thoughts take root, which ambitions thrive, and which beliefs wither. Make the difficult decision to protect your peace, preserve your purpose, and surround yourself with greatness. Seek out those who have already realized what you aspire to. Find communities where excellence is the standard, not the exception. Remember that pruning, however painful, leads to greater growth. By deliberately curating your circle, you are not being selfish. Rather, you are ensuring that you become capable of offering your greatest gifts to the world. The right circle will not only support your dreams, but will expand them. They will challenge your limitations, question your excuses, and reflect back to you a more courageous version of yourself. Next, quit comparing yourself to others. The quickest way to destroy your joy is by measuring it against someone else's highlight reel. You are on a unique path designed solely for you. No two individuals start from the same point, with the same resources, scars, or callings. So why undermine your spirit by measuring your success against someone else's pace? Theodore Roosevelt once stated, "Comparison is the thief of joy," and he was absolutely correct. When you compare, you divert your focus from your own mission. Visualize a horse in a race constantly glancing to the neighboring lanes. It slows, stumbles, and eventually lags behind. Winners keep their eyes forward. You must do the same. This digital highlight reel creates a warped reality in which it seems everyone is thriving except you. However, remember, behind every success story exists countless untold chapters of doubt, rejection, and resilience. The so-called overnight success was, in reality, years in the making. The ideal relationship endured turbulent times that you may be unaware of, while the dream career was often birthed from failures that never made it to the feed. Your journey unfolds uniquely with its timing. Some flowers blossom in spring, others in summer or fall. Would you question a rose for not blooming in January? Certainly not. Its very nature dictates the appropriate season. The same holds true for your life's progression. Trust the process that unfolds uniquely for you. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Acknowledge how far you have come instead of lamenting where others might be. The only person you need to surpass is the individual you were yesterday. Small improvements accumulate over time, represented by the daily choice to show up, to try again, to learn, and to grow. These are the true measures of success. When you find yourself leaning into comparison, gently redirect your focus. Ask yourself, what can I celebrate about my journey today? What strength have I developed that I didn't possess before? What small victory deserves recognition? Your journey is your own canvas. Do not ruin it by tracing someone else's sketch. Your life is meant to be an original masterpiece, not a replica. The world requires your authentic expression, not another copy of someone else's path. When you focus inward, you ignite your own excellence. You uncover strengths, interests, and possibilities that would remain dormant if you were busy mimicking others. Your unique combination of experiences, perspectives, and talents yield value that no one else can offer. So, cease looking left and right. Keep your eyes on your path, your heart in your purpose, and your steps aligned with your vision. That is how you succeed, not by chasing someone else's race, but by mastering your own. The truest success arises from fully becoming yourself, not a second-rate version of someone else. Run your race, Paint your canvas, write your story, and find joy in the journey meant solely for you. Quit overcommitting. Overcommitting quietly sabotages your productivity and peace. When you say yes to every request or opportunity, you dilute your effectiveness and edge closer to burnout. It is vital to recognize that your time and energy are finite resources. By overloading your schedule, you jeopardize not only the quality of your work, but also your well-being. We fear missing opportunities, disappointing others, or appearing incapable. Yet this instinctive agreement often results in a paradoxical outcome. In attempting to accomplish everything, we manage to achieve little of significance while exhausting ourselves in the process. Consider the entrepreneur who, in their eagerness to please clients, accepted more projects than they could manage, resulting in missed deadlines and a tarnished reputation. What began as enthusiasm and ambition gradually transformed into overwhelm, anxiety, and ultimately failure. Had they been selective with their commitments, they might have delivered exceptional results on a few projects rather than mediocre outcomes across many. This pattern repeats across professional and personal domains. The employee who volunteers for every committee, the parent who signs up for all school activities, and the friend who never declines an invitation, all risk spreading themselves too thin until quality diminishes and joy evaporates. Learning to say no is not an outright rejection of opportunities, but rather an affirmation of your priorities. Each commitment signifies an investment of your most precious asset, time, which, once spent, cannot be regained. Before agreeing to any new responsibility, pause and reflect. Does this align with my core values and objectives? Will this propel me toward my most important goals? Can I fulfill this commitment without sacrificing quality or well-being? If the answer to any of these questions is no, consider refusing respectfully but firmly. A clear no today can prevent resentment, disappointment, and potential failure tomorrow. Evaluate each obligation against your goals and values. If it does not align or stretches you too thin, it is wise to decline. This does not necessitate elaborate explanations or apologies. A simple, "I appreciate the offer, but I cannot take this on right now," is sufficient. Most people respect honesty and clear boundaries more than reluctant agreements. Implementing strategic refusals requires self-awareness. Identify your non-negotiables, those activities essential to your health, relationships, and core responsibilities. Protect these fiercely. Next, gauge your capacity for additional commitments. Just as you would not overload a boat beyond its weight capacity, do not push yourself beyond sustainable limits. Remember, by establishing boundaries, you safeguard your time for endeavors that genuinely matter, allowing you to deliver excellence without compromising your well-being. The most successful individuals are not necessarily those who do the most. They are those who concentrate intensely on what matters most. Paradoxically, saying no frequently opens the door to more meaningful yeses. With preserved energy and focus, you can engage fully with your chosen commitments. Rather than half-heartedly attempting everything, this selective approach cultivates deeper satisfaction, amplifies your impact, and sustains the pace necessary for long-term accomplishment. In a world that praises busy schedules and constant activity, opting for deliberate engagement over blind commitment becomes an act of radical self-respect. By mastering the art of saying no, you regain control over your time, energy, and ultimately the direction of your life. Next, quit dwelling on the past. The past serves as a reference point, not a residence. Ruminating over former mistakes or missed opportunities anchors you to moments that no longer serve you. When we linger in the shadows of yesterday, we miss the light of today and the promise of tomorrow. Consider the inventor who encountered multiple failed prototypes. Had he fixated on his failures, he would never have achieved the breakthrough that transformed industries. Thomas Edison famously tested thousands of materials before finding the right filament for his electric light bulb. "I have not failed," he stated. "I have merely discovered 10,000 ways that do not work." Each attempt was information, not defeat. Stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. This shift in perspective is crucial for anyone pursuing meaningful goals. Failures and setbacks are inevitable companions on the journey toward excellence. What distinguishes the successful from the stagnant is not the absence of mistakes, but rather their relationship with those mistakes. The past can serve as a valuable resource rather than debilitating baggage. Each experience, triumphant or challenging, provides lessons that can guide your future decisions. Your history contains wisdom if you approach it with curiosity rather than criticism. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How might this prepare me for what lies ahead? These inquiries extract value even from the most painful circumstances. A mind that continually revisits old wounds constrains itself within a self-imposed prison. Psychological research indicates that excessive rumination correlates with heightened anxiety and depression. Your mental energy is limited. Every moment spent reliving past regrets is a moment diverted from creating future successes. By loosening the grip of past regrets, you open yourself up to seize present opportunities and shape a future that aligns with your aspirations. This release is not about forgetting or dismissing your past. It is about reshaping your relationship with those events. Acknowledge them, extract their lessons, and then focus your gaze forward. Practical strategies can assist in nurturing this forward-focused mindset. Begin by practicing present moment awareness, engaging fully with current activities rather than mentally time-traveling. When old regrets surface, acknowledge them briefly before gently redirecting your attention to the present. Consider writing about past experiences to process them thoroughly, and then symbolically closing that chapter. Embrace the mindset that every day is a new canvas, and you hold the brush to paint your destiny. This metaphor is not merely poetic. It reflects the neurological truth that our brains remain remarkably adaptable throughout life. New neural pathways are forged through repeated thoughts and actions, meaning yesterday's patterns need not dictate tomorrow's possibilities. The freedom that comes from treating the past as a reference instead of a residence manifests as increased creativity, improved decision-making, and greater emotional resilience. Without the burden of yesterday's disappointments, you move nimbly toward opportunities and respond more adaptively to challenges. Remember that your history has shaped who you are, but it does not have to define who you will become. The chapters already written contribute to your story, but they do not conclude it. Each morning presents blank pages awaiting your authorship. Therefore, choose to honor your past without inhabiting it. Extract its wisdom, acknowledge its influence, and then step boldly into the present moment, the only place where meaningful change and authentic growth can take place. In doing so, you will alter your relationship with time itself, turning yesterday into your teacher rather than your home. Lastly, prioritize your health. Your body is the vessel that carries you through life's journey. Neglecting its needs is akin to attempting a long voyage with a compromised vessel. When we prioritize deadlines over dinner, meetings over movement, and productivity over proper rest, we inadvertently sabotage the very vehicle designed to propel us toward our ambitions. Prioritizing your health is not a luxury, but a necessity. In a culture that often glorifies exhaustion and celebrates pushing past limits, this truth may seem counterintuitive. Yet the evidence is irrefutable. Sustainable achievement demands sustainable practices. The human system, an intricate network of cells, systems, and signals, operates best only when its foundational needs are met. Regular physical activity, balanced nutrition, and sufficient rest are cornerstones of sustainable success. These elements synergize, each enhancing the other. Exercise not only strengthens muscles, but also improves cognitive function, creativity, and emotional regulation. Nutrition provides the essential materials your body needs for energy, repair, and optimal brain performance. Quality sleep consolidates learning, restores cellular function, and regulates hormones necessary for motivation and decision-making. The misconception that self-care detracts from achievement stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of human performance. Peak productivity does not arise from relentless hours of work, but from strategically oscillating between focused effort and deliberate recovery. The most effective professionals are not those who work endlessly. They are those who work intelligently, aligning with their biological rhythms rather than fighting against them. By investing in your well-being, you enhance your resilience, focus, and ability to confront challenges. A well-maintained body responds more adeptly to stress, recovers faster from setbacks, and maintains clearer thinking under pressure. These advantages translate directly into improved performance and increased longevity in any endeavor. Implement simple yet powerful practices. Schedule movement as non-negotiable appointments in your calendar. Prepare nutritious meals that energize rather than deplete you. Establish consistent sleep and wake times that honor your body's need for restoration. Small adjustments applied consistently yield remarkable outcomes over time. Enduring success is built on a foundation of good health. The accomplishments that matter most, those that create lasting impact and personal fulfillment, demand not just momentary bursts of brilliance, but sustained commitment over years and decades. This long-term perspective reframes health, not as indulgence, but as essential infrastructure supporting your most important work. Your relationship with your body reflects a deeper relationship with yourself and your purpose. Treating your physical needs as secondary signals a fundamental disconnect from the reality that you are your body, not merely a mind inhabiting temporary housing. When you honor your embodied nature, tending to physical signals with the same seriousness you allocate to intellectual pursuits, you align with the integrated system you truly are. Choose, therefore, to navigate life's journey in a vessel worthy of serving your greatest aspirations. Maintain it diligently, nourish it properly, and allow it the rest essential for optimal function. In doing so, know that you do not sacrifice success. Rather, you establish precisely the conditions that render meaningful, sustainable achievement possible. Moreover, quit resisting change. Change is the only constant in life, and resisting it is like standing against the tide, an exercise in futility. When we cling to established conventions out of comfort or fear, we overlook the revolutionary possibilities that define this transformative era. The human experience is marked by a paradox, a simultaneous longing for stability and a need for growth. Two forces that are being dramatically tested in this turbulent moment. Embracing change opens doors to new opportunities, growth, and innovation. Cultivate a mindset that views change not as a threat, but as a catalyst for development. This viewpoint shift does not deny the discomfort that often accompanies societal transformations, civil rights movements, women's liberation, technological revolutions, but reframes them as necessary growing pains, not signs of societal collapse. Just as President Kennedy urged America to reach the moon within a decade, personal growth necessitates ambitious vision and comfort with the unknown. By remaining adaptable and receptive to new ideas, you position yourself to navigate these ever-changing landscapes successfully. Adaptability may very well be the defining skill of the space age, more valuable than specific technical knowledge that might swiftly become obsolete. The ability to embrace new paradigms becomes your greatest asset in this world of accelerating change, from computerization to jet travel. By shedding habits of resistance, you liberate yourself from self-imposed limitations and step into a realm of boundless potential. When you release your grasp on established customs, your mind becomes free to explore new frontiers of possibility, much like explorers such as Jacques Cousteau, revealing the depths of the ocean, and astronauts venturing beyond our atmosphere. Your journey toward personal excellence is paved with conscious decisions to let go of what hinders and embrace what empowers. This does not entail abandoning discernment. Not all change benefits society, as the escalating Cold War serves as a reminder. Rather, it means approaching change with a curiosity that has propelled us to the first satellite in orbit and the first human on the moon in a single decade. Take these steps confidently, knowing that each one brings you closer to the fulfillment and success you envision. The path ahead may not resemble the one you originally pictured, but it may lead to destinations far more extraordinary than you could have planned. Like Bob Dylan shifting from folk to electric guitar despite audience protests, Your adaptability allows you to evolve beyond expectations instead of being confined by them. Remember that in nature, it is not the strongest or most intelligent species that endure, but those best able to respond to change. This evolutionary wisdom applies equally to your personal and professional development during these revolutionary times. By reconciling with impermanence and fostering comfort in discomfort, you can transform change from merely something that happens to you into something that occurs for you, a reliable ally on your journey toward your highest potential.